Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Fellow B Plus players, playing us in there, Poppy, the NXT loud Takeover Phoenix theme song. Welcome to the B Plus podcast. It's such a weird song. Such a weird song. I am your host, Greg Unchained. Of course, we're talking, as evidenced by the theme song, we're talking NXT Takeover Phoenix. Joining me to do so, the incomparable CJ. How are you, CJ?
Mate, I'm feeling so about Takeover. How are you doing?
You're feeling so-so?
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
Oh man, I thought that show was incredible.
Man, I've got a few things that personally I would have changed. And two of the matches which you'll hear later on, I wasn't a massive fan of.
All right,
but
it was the toe biting, wasn't it? Was it the toe biting?
Oh, mate, that was so disgusting.
We'll get to it. Let's start with what we just heard. Poppy. Now, I mistakenly thought that when Poppy got announced by NXT Loud as a theme song, I thought it was for the UK takeover for some reason. And so I talked about it with Akil on the UK takeover preview, but I think it's worth revisiting. How weird is Poppy?
To be honest, I have no idea. This is the first time I've heard of them.
Oh, man. No, so it's just a chick. It's not a them.
Oh.
Yeah. So she's this YouTube girl, right, who does music, obviously.
Yeah.
And, but she does lots of these minimalist videos where she's just, in a room with, a grey background. And there's one where she's talking to a plant, and she's like, "Hi, plant, how are you?" And it's like, "I'm good."
Oh, wait, is that the I'm Poppy?
Yeah.
Was that her?
I'm Poppy. 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 Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and she has the ones where she's interviewed by a doll named Charlotte, and it's like all this stuff. I went down the rabbit hole recently with her, looking into it and stuff, and it's kind of like she's like this weird meta commentary on celebrity worship.
Oh, okay.
You know, like her whole thing is she's in this real sterile environment in this room or whatever, and she makes these videos because she likes to make people smile and all this sort of stuff. But there's this sinister overtones where she talks about they dress me this morning. They tell me where to go. They set up my interviews and stuff. And it's like she's talking about her record label or whatever. She's just this created pop star.
Wow.
And it's really dark and it's so fucking weird. And then the song is just so catchy. And we're not talking about wrestling anymore. So we should...
Poppy for NXT Women's Champion just because of her music.
Well, she went up. I can't remember who it was. It might have been No DQ or something. She went on a couple of wrestling shows and stuff, and they were showing her the bloodiest moments or whatever. And when John Cena got his head put through a TV, and she popped for it. She was like, "I like that. That looks nice." But she I feel like she broke character for the first time. I've never seen her break character. I've watched Poppy videos for quite a few years now. But the first time I ever saw her break character was when she saw Eddie Guerrero and the blood actually coming out of his head in time with his heartbeat.
With the JBL match.
Yeah, the JBL match where the blade job went wrong. And because you can see it every time his heart pumps. You see it come out a little more. It's really disturbing. And I felt like she broke gimmick for a second because she was like, ooh, is he okay?
The best response would have been like, no, he's dead now.
Yeah, the hosts would have had to edit out that awkward part where they're like, well, actually, no, he's really not okay.
I feel so bad for laughing about that.
Yeah, well, that's an awkward moment. But rest in peace, Eddie Guerrero, of course, a legend in the sport who we love and was taken from us
way too
tragically and way too early. So, but it was still a funny moment. we can do both. We can do both.
Yes.
But let's talk Takeover. So you're so on this show.
Yeah.
Should we go top to bottom, or do you want to just hit us with
let's go top to bottom.
Okay. All right. Well, I'll start with the pre-show because the thing I'm so about is the awards, right? They do the year-end awards
at
the pre-show. Yeah, at the first takeover each year, they do the pre-show dedicated to the their year-end awards for 2018. So I'll just run you through real quick, and we'll see if we agree with the choices. The breakout star for 2018, Ricochet.
Yes.
I disagree. I disagree. But again, I disagree as an indie fan, I guess, because I look at it and I'm like, we already knew Ricochet was amazing when he showed up. Bianca Belair had a breakout year.
Yeah, I reckon if Ricochet, if they counted the indie side of things as well, instead of just, hey,
well, they don't.
But... Yeah, but if they did, Ricochet shouldn't have won, it should have been Belair's. But for people who have been watching NXT and have no idea about the indies, Ricochet was probably the best pick.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. Match of the year was Gargano versus Almas. I have zero problem with that.
No, I have no problem with that.
Solid choice. Male competitor of the year was Tommaso Ciampa. Again, no problem with that.
No.
Female competitor of the year, Kairi Sane. I'm sorry, but Bianca Belair was undefeated, right? You can't, spoilers, we're going to get to it. But yeah. At the point this was given out, Bianca Belair was undefeated, and Shayna Baszler was the champion and has had an amazing year. How it wasn't Belair or Shayna, I don't know. I feel like Belair got robbed in these awards.
I think you're right. I think Belair got robbed in general today. But you're right. It should have been her or Baszler. They both had a fantastic year. They both pretty much beat the hell out of anyone they come up against. And Bianca Belair whipped away through the competition. Literally and figuratively.
Literally. I mean, look, Kairi Sane is fantastic. I love Kairi Sane.
Yeah.
Do not get me wrong. We all know I'm a big fan of the Pirate Princess. But this was not her award, and I'm very disappointed. Tag Team of the Year, Undisputed Era.
Perfect.
No one can dispute that.
Perfect.
Yeah. Then the overall competitor of the year, Kairi Sane. What?
Really?
Yeah, Kairi Sane. She beat Ciampa out, and like everyone beat everyone. I'm like, Velveteen Dream got robbed. How did he not get any awards? How did Bianca Belair not get any awards? This whole show was rigged. I'm not a fan.
That's ridiculous. That's just fan favoritism. That's got nothing to do with it.
How can you not have Velveteen Dream or Bianca Belair win any award for 2018?
No, that's exactly right. I mean, Dream deserved at least Male Superstar of the Year.
Yeah, I could have given him Male Competitor of the Year for sure. I mean, I understand Ciampa as the best.
Yeah,
I do.
Give Ciampa best overall.
Yeah, for sure. And there's one other thing I want to touch on from the pre-show.
Yeah,
there is one other thing, and this is a big one for me. People who know me personally know that I'm quite a stan for Sam Roberts. You're familiar with Sam Roberts?
Oh, yep.
He does the pre-shows from time to time. He also has a podcast, Not Sam Wrestling. I'm not familiar with his radio work, but I'm a big fan of the Not Sam Wrestling podcast. He does interviews. It's a similar format to me with my Aussie Graps shows, where he talks about the news and he gets some interviews. But he does it with like WWE stars and indie stars, and I do it in Australia, right? But Sam Roberts has been a big influence on me as a podcaster. I'm going to pull back the curtain a little bit. Some of the biggest influences on me and what I want to do with this podcast are the Sam Roberts podcast, and Tights and Fights is another one about positivity, right? Being positive. If it's something you don't like too much, I mean, it's okay to be positively critical, of course. Yeah. It's okay to be critical because you want things to get better. But but just saying things suck or, this person's terrible or trash or whatever. I just don't believe in any of that stuff. And it's too prevalent in podcasts. There's too much trash talk. And it's something that Sam Roberts does and Tights and Fights do really well is they're like, we are fans of wrestling and we're here to enjoy wrestling. If it's something we don't enjoy, we're probably just not going to talk about it. And we're just going to focus on the stuff we love, right?
See, that's a good way of doing it. That's a great way of doing it.
Yeah, so he was a big influence on me in that way. And he disappointed me on the pre-show because he came out and said, when they started talking about the Belair versus Baszler match, and the thing is, I've been listening to his podcast, the way he talks about the pre-shows, they don't plan what they're going to say, right? They go out there on a few points and then they sort of freewheel it, and that's the way WWE like it to go.
Yeah.
I felt like he took Pat Buck and Charlie Caruso off guard with this because both of their reactions looked genuinely shocked and confused. And even him trying to come out and say it, he was like, I don't know how to put this. Let me put it like, I feel like Bianca Belair isn't takeover worthy. That's what he said.
Wow.
He came out and said that Belair versus Baszler wasn't takeover worthy because there was no way Belair was going to win. It was a waste of a match because we know who's going to win. I felt that way about Ciampa Black, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no, you're right. I felt the same way about that one.
There's no way Black's winning the title, especially as the show went on and Gargano obviously won his match. It became very clear, Ciampa's going to win his match too. And it just sort of took the stakes out of that Black match. We'll get to that.
Yep.
But he said this about Belair vs. Baszler on the pre-show and saying that we're wasting a match. And to me, it sounded to me like he just buried Belair. And I'm sure that wasn't his intention, but I got to call him out on it because I know that he is also a big believer in positivity and being a fan and being a positive fan and being a positive force. And so I got to call him out on it, man. You buried our girl Belair. I think she's absolutely takeover worthy, and I think she was robbed repeatedly on this night.
Yeah, you're
especially by you, Sam Roberts. Especially by you.
Shame.
Shame. We need the nun with the bell to follow us around. Shame.
Shame on you, Sam Roberts.
We need to get at WrestleMania. We need to get someone to dress up with them and just follow him around for the day. Shame. Shame, because he'll be there at WrestleMania. Just have someone behind him for the whole show. Shame. Shame. I don't think he'd even be opposed. I'm sure he'd understand.
He'd probably start talking about it on his podcast. Start interviewing the person who's following you.
Publicity. I'll tag him. I'll tag him in this. I'll be like, Sam, disappointed in you, brother. But anyway, let's get on with the show. The show kicked off in an amazing way.
Yes.
War Raiders with that huge entrance.
That entrance was awesome. That was honestly one of the most fantastic entrances I've ever seen.
Right. Well, everyone was marking out for it in our Discord chat, which, by the way, you can be a part of simply by going to patreon.com/theb+, cheap plug. But I was kind of against it at first because I'm like, wait, who is this? Is this the War Raiders? Because, okay, their gear was okay. They had the right helmets and they had the right... But they're the War Raiders. They're not the War Varangian Guard. It was historically inaccurate. The shields and the pikes. No, the Vikings traditionally did not use pikes. Now,
no.
Look, Ro, I believe it's Ro that's married to the girl on the main roster, the Riot Squad. Sarah Logan. No, Sarah Logan, dude. Sarah Logan
just married them.
Ruby Riott ain't married. Is she?
Wow, I don't know now.
I don't follow the personal lives too much, but I know it was big news because they had a Viking wedding, right? Ro and Logan. And Logan has the dreads, right? She's the Viking girl.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I know that they're into the history and stuff. But so am I. And it threw me a little. I'm like, I felt like this was a WWE thing and not I don't think Ro would have approved this.
I think you're right.
because yeah, the pikes, that's very Varangian Guard, which, I mean, if you want to say that these guys have, since leaving the Indies, have crossed over to the Byzantine Empire and become part of the Varangian Guard, then, I mean, it fits. It works.
Let's just say that they did for the sake of this podcast.
Yeah, they were the War Raiders before, but they're a part of the Empire now, right? So maybe the Varangian Guard bit fit, but in that case, call them the War Guard. Because the War Raiders is a terrible name.
War Guard.
I don't know. But yeah, the entrance was fun anyway. Historical inaccuracies aside, which, by the way, as I'm pointing this out, my partner's sitting there on the couch next to me. She's like, "You're such a fucking nerd."
That's right. I was thinking that when you were talking about it at Discord too.
So, you know.
Well, I wasn't going to say it, but I'm glad she said it first.
Well, actually, the match was amazing.
The match itself was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I've never really seen the athleticism that Rowe could do. Personally, I haven't really been able to watch a bunch of this stuff because I couldn't get into the character as such. But as soon as Rowe starts popping out the cartwheels, which are super over, by the way.
Yeah, dude, those cartwheels are over.
And then
so over.
And then that handspring
But the dives
elbow.
too, right? What about the dives and stuff, though, as well? Like, he's so much control.
That is exactly right. He has so much control over his body and how he moves and stuff. It sort of reminds me of like, there used to be like it's like a past Kevin Owens-ish before he started losing a lot of weight.
Yeah. It works. For me, it works when you've battered someone so hard. But because the only problem I have, and I've said this before on the NXT podcasts and stuff, the only problem I have with Rowe's acrobatics is sometimes it can look a little slow, right?
Yeah.
And so you're in danger of the guy looking like they're waiting to take a move.
No, that's exactly right.
But that comes down to the other guy, right? So if you put him in there against maybe like a Velveteen Dream or a Kona Reeves especially, right? Someone who's a little more green, maybe doesn't have the selling down pat. They'll sell for a minute and then they'll look up to see where he's at and then they'll be like, oh, he's still going, and then they'll sell for a minute and it'll look bad.
Yeah.
When he's in there against Adam Cole or when he's in there against, Undisputed Era, Red Dragon, obviously they make it look like gold. Yeah.
Yeah, because they've been in the industry for years. But I think it's also similar to how at the last Takeover event, War Games, when Ricochet was doing the steel cage jump, it's a similar situation where people will just stop. Rowe and Undisputed Era today, when they did the handspring elbow and the cartwheels, it didn't seem like that. It just seemed so fluent.
No, and that's why it worked so well today.
Yes.
I'm just saying in previous matches I have seen it look sluggish. However, today it was on point, and that credit goes to the guys taking the move. It really does.
Oh, yeah.
But this was a fantastic match.
Yeah. I think the whole aspect of the match was the fight for everything. The whole aspect was with the crowd chanting "Fight Forever" during this match, and the warring chants between Undisputed Era and War Raiders. It showed how much passion that the NXT audience have for these two teams.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if they're supposed to have that much passion for Undisputed Era, though, right? Like, they're the bad guys.
Doesn't matter. They're super over.
They are. Any reaction's a good reaction.
Yep.
All right, Vince. No, but I thought the big thing for me was I really love NXT takeovers starting with insanely hot tag matches, because the NXT UK takeover recently did that as well, right? With the grizzled young vets and Moustache Mountain. And I love it, but at the same time, it makes what comes after like it needs to be mint, or else, because you're starting off on such a high note, and obviously this one even higher because we got a title change, right? So we ended up with the War Raiders as the tag team champions, which is not what I predicted. I thought Undisputed Era would hold on for a little bit longer, but I'm happy to be wrong.
Yeah, I think personally, it was Undisputed Era's time. I think they will receive a call up very, very soon. I'm not saying Royal Rumble soon. I'm saying just after Elimination Chamber soon.
Right, so before WrestleMania, I think they get lost in the shuffle if they come up that quick. I think you take them off NXT TV for a bit and then have them show up after WrestleMania. Although they would be good on the takeover before WrestleMania too. So
yeah, you could have a takeover before WrestleMania, or you could also have them get called up at WrestleMania, similar to how the Hardys returned.
Right.
Have like a multi-man match, and then just have Undisputed be like, "Yo, it's our era now."
Right. Well, if I'm going to book the territory for a minute, I think that at TakeOver before WrestleMania weekend, I think that you heat up Adam Cole and let Adam Cole take on Tommaso Ciampa.
Yeah.
I think you heat up Velveteen Dream, possibly with the win from. I'm hoping he's going to win this Worlds Collide tournament, and you have him cash his title shot in against Johnny Gargano. Right. Mm-hmm. So then you have for the WrestleMania TakeOver, I have it as Ciampa. I would love to see Ciampa Gargano, and we'll get to that when we get to their matches. But I think that there's still more room to tell more story. I think they're going to go for another year potentially with this story,
definitely.
And so you've got I think you see Ciampa and I think you see Ciampa and Adam Cole. I think you see Velveteen Dream and Gargano. And those are sort of the last matches in NXT for Cole and Dream. And then they get called up to Raw and SmackDown respectively after WrestleMania. That's how I see those guys going. But that's me.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think that Undisputed Era are a Raw team. They have to go to Raw.
Yeah,
Raw needs them. Far. Raw needs Undisputed Era. But I think Dream is a SmackDown guy through and through.
Yeah, I can see that.
Anyway, then we move on to two people who probably won't be getting called up anytime soon. Cassius Ohno. Although, I've got a bit of fantasy booking for you in a second.
All right.
Cassius Ohno versus Matt Riddle.
Yeah, this was one of those matches. It was a fantastic, hard-hitting match. I do love seeing it. And the fact that it was pretty much knockout artist versus knockout artist. Personally, I think they should have made this a TKO match. Like back in, I can't even remember the last time I saw it, but not like a last man standing match where you can't make the 10 count. More of a sudden, you've got to knock your opponent out, or that's it.
Yeah, no, go full blood sport with it.
Yeah.
Remove the ropes, and say the only way to win is by. Well, no, because even in those, it's normally submission or knockout.
Yeah.
So the submission still works, but it was the toe biting, wasn't it? It was the toe biting that got you.
That was the
That's why you
weirdest
didn't like
freaking thing I have ever seen in a WWE ring. And I watched a sumo match with the Big Show.
If you're going to not wear shoes, these are the things that you open yourself up to. I would love to see someone do like the Marty Skull finger breaking spot with his toes. You know, you're opening yourself up to that kind of thing. And if you don't have toes, man, you can't stand.
No, that's exactly right.
So, you want to talk about taking out the base. You take out his toes. I thought it was a brilliant veteran move. By of course, biting in itself is illegal, right? So I think that the toe break would have been better. But, Ohno's not necessarily the most above board of wrestlers at the moment. So it worked. I really liked it. I thought the finish was amazing. Tapping out to strikes. You can tap out to strikes now in WWE.
Apparently
this is a thing. Yeah.
I think submissions can happen at any point during the match if you feel like you can't compete.
We were talking about this on Discord, right? Yeah. So we want to see we want to see some like a coward heel. Like let's book it for a second. Like book the territory. You get like I don't know. Say Kona Reeves, right? And he goes up against Keith Lee, and they lock up, and then immediately Kona Reeves just taps out, rolls out of the ring. He's like, nope. I felt his arms.
No, he breathed on me.
I felt his arms. I want no part of this.
I feel like this would happen if R-Truth was ever booked to face Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, he doesn't even have to do anything. Like Brock Lesnar just does his bounce thing, and then like across the bell rings, Brock Lesnar does his little bounce thing, and then R-Truth is just like, I submit.
He just lays on the floor and just lays down.
he just starts tapping on his own chest. He's like, I submit. I give up. That's it. Game over.
Please, WWE, book someone to do it.
Game over, man. No, it's that's a good gimmick. I like that.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah,
I don't know how over you'd get. Maybe Kurt Hawkins, right? Kurt Hawkins starts selling so much merch of his losing streak that he's like, I need to keep this going.
Drags Ryder down with him.
He just starts tapping out all the time, just to anything.
Yeah. He touched my finger.
Punched in the face. Tap out. It'd be great.
I got Irish whipped into the ropes, so I left and tapped out.
No, but this made Riddle look super strong.
It did.
And here's my fantasy booking.
Yep.
Tomorrow, Matt Riddle comes out at number 29 and he wins the Royal Rumble, goes to WrestleMania and retires Brock Lesnar.
Ooh, that's a high call, but it potentially could work.
It's such a monster push. It's something Vince would never do, and that's why it would work.
Yeah.
It's because his whole thing, like there are shirts. Eat, sleep, retire Brock Lesnar. He has the checklist of what he wants to do in his career, and it's all checked off except for retire Brock Lesnar. That's the one thing he wants to do. I say let him do it, man.
Yeah, I think if anyone were to retire Brock, it'd have to be... There's 4 superstars that I can see that would do it. John Cena, Triple H, Seth Rollins, or Matt Riddle.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Now, I think that, I think that Finn Balor's going to win tomorrow.
Yeah.
That's my fantasy booking anyway. So I don't know that it works as a booking. However, if you're going to have Brock Lesnar win and go to WrestleMania, I really like, make a star. Because Matt Riddle, he's ready. Like, he's so effortlessly charming.
Does a stoned personality seem charming to you, Greg?
What do you mean stoned personality? He's just always happy, man. He's just happy to be everywhere in the world.
He kind of...
Do you see him on Instagram? He posted a story on Instagram that was it was one of the War Raider guys. I think it might have been Ro. And he was like playing one of those they were at an arcade.
Yeah.
Right? And it was the night before Takeover, I think. And yeah, they were at one of these arcades in Phoenix, and one of the War Raider guys was playing one of those motorcycle racing games. And he's like this giant man on this tiny video game motorcycle. And it was just a really funny image. And he posted it with the caption "War Rider," right? and it's just a video of just him just smiling. And just Ro in the background riding this bike, like really intensely playing this game, and Matt Riddle's just smiling, just like he's on the verge of cracking up laughing. He's just like he's just smiling, looking all stoned, just feel like amazing. This is amazing.
Oh, I'm gonna go find
I'm gonna have to put it. Yeah, I'm gonna have to put it in the show notes because it's so fucking
definitely.
good. Yeah, yep. It's so good, and you know I love Matt Riddle, and I think he could definitely be a face of the company type guy. He looks good on a poster, man. He looks real good on a poster.
Yeah, I think he would be the next Brock Lesnar once Brock Lesnar does get retired by him.
Yeah, well, let's hope it happens one way or another, but I highly doubt. I highly doubt that my fantasy booking will come true. Yeah. It doesn't seem like something Vince would do, because it means essentially that Matt Riddle's just bypassing everything.
Pretty much.
Normally you need to do to become a star.
Pretty much. But yeah, we see Matt Riddle defeating Ono by submission, or TKO in a sense. Could you class that as a TKO now?
No, because he quit. He very clearly submitted. It was a submission.
Otherwise it would have been TKO.
Yeah, I feel like the ref would have stopped it if it went for another couple of seconds.
Probably.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Christmas has come and gone, and with it, the disappointment of those Secret Santa staples, the shave kit, the sports hygiene packs, and seasonal socks is fading. As we roll on, though, into the new year, it's time to make resolutions. So why not resolve to look better in 2019 and get yourself the gift that keeps on giving and never disappoints? Threadbox. Threadbox is a subscription clothes shopping service which for as little as $40 per month will send you a box of personally curated goodies straight to your doorstep. I get the $160 package which comes with over $200 worth of fresh goodies each month. Kept me looking fly for all my Christmas engagements this year. You get to communicate with the Threadbox stylist assigned to you by email regarding what it is you need, and they will tailor the box accordingly. And in the unlikely event that you don't like what they send you, you send it back, they will replace it with something new and make note of the things you don't like so that they can avoid that kind of thing in the future. Threadbox is a truly unbelievable service that no man should be living without, so head over to threadbox.com.au today and use our code TheB+15 when you check out to get 15% off your first box. January is here and we are fast approaching WrestleMania season. Royal Rumble and the road to WrestleMania are around the corner, so the time to dilly-dally is past us. If you want to experience WrestleMania live, and who doesn't, let's be honest, you deserve it. The best and really the only way to do it is with All Aussie Travelers. All Aussie Travelers are new to the wrestling travel package game, but they are veterans at travel, and they have put together a package that cannot be beaten. For less than $7,500, All Aussie Travelers are going to send you to New York, New York, with return flights, airport transfers, full accommodation, and tickets to the WWE Hall of Fame, NXT pre-show party, NXT TakeOver, WrestleMania, Monday Night Raw, SmackDown Live, and more. The coolest part about these packages is that for NXT TakeOver, Raw, and SmackDown, you are going to be seated in your own private VIP suite, normally not available to the public, but All Aussie Travelers have you covered, man. They got this locked down. It has its own bar, it has its own bathroom access, and all the luxuries that a VIP box comes with, not least of which, of course, an incredible view for everything happening in the ring. All of this for under $7,500. They're practically giving these packages away, man. You'd be crazy not to check it out. So head over to All Aussie Travelers on Facebook. The link is in the show notes. And tell them that the B Plus sent you. And let's go watch WrestleMania in style. Wouldn't have taken much longer. But then we get very clear for me, match of the night. This match, holy crap, incredible. Top to bottom. This would have made my top 3 matches of the year last year easily. Johnny Blaze, Johnny Gargano.
Johnny freaking wrestling.
Yeah, taking on a Ricochet. It's, the male superstar of the year. No, breakout superstar of the year. Yeah. This match, though, holy crap.
This was fantastic. This would probably be maybe in my top 5 of 2019 for this match.
Yeah, this is the first match that's made it to my match of the year lists for this year for WWE.
Yeah, definitely.
Just because I feel like the Rey and Almas, the finishes to the Rey and Almas matches have pissed me off. So they didn't make it, but this did. This match made it. And it was phenomenal top to bottom. Like, just Ricochet flipping out of the Hurricane Ranas was great.
Oh, yeah.
There is, I will say a little bit, they do go a bit too ham-fisted on the storytelling aspect. So the point where, Ricochet offered to help Johnny up and he's like, which Johnny am I going to get? Which Johnny am I going to get tonight? You didn't need to say that, right? Like, imagine in Omega versus Tanahashi, right? If Omega was like, you'll never do what it takes. My style is better than your style. If he was saying that, like, in the match with his words. No, you say it in the promos. Yeah. You say it in the build-up. But in the match, you let the story beats just talk for themselves. Just putting the hand out was enough for us to get the idea of, which Johnny's going to get. Is he going to get the respectful Johnny? Is he going to get the dark Johnny?
No, that's exactly
right. You didn't need to say it.
No, it didn't need to be put out there. And going along with those storyline things, the whole internal fighting against himself with the floor spots.
Yeah.
That I didn't understand. Like, it got done. It got done. That's great English there, CJ. That spot was done 3 times this on Takeover today. Yeah. And it's overdone now. I'm sick of seeing it.
Yeah, because they've done it a few times, but at the end of the day, it played into this story of how far will you go, right?
Yeah.
And Johnny having to decide, like he didn't do it the first time, and he almost failed. He almost lost. And then when he did do it, it led to victory for him. It worked. It paid off. And it's sort of discovering the depths that he will go. I understand why it was there. I feel like they take too long with their beats sometimes. So, like, when he puts him in the position for the DDT, and then he thinks for a second, and, like, if I'm Ricochet, I'm punching you in the ribs, right? Like, it's
exactly right.
He took a few moments too long for my liking, but over the span of the match, it made sense.
Yeah, definitely. I think more of the match that went by, the better it kind of seemed. But I don't know. I'm just sick of seeing that spot.
Yeah, well, for me, it's the words. For me, it's the which Johnny am I going to get? It didn't need that. Or right at the end, when Johnny was like, I win, and then slingshots into the DDT, and that head bump was brutal. He took a couple of brutal head bumps. What about that reverse Rana on the outside? I thought he was dead.
Yeah, that was incredible. I mean, he sold that like crazy.
Anyway, for me, saying I win, you don't need that. If you get the cameraman in the right position and you just lock eyes with him right before you slingshot over,
yeah,
like, you're telling him I win by beating him. You don't need to say it. To me, I felt like that was a little much, and yeah, so maybe I'd give this match like 4 stars and 7/8, kind of, like, I'd go very close. It was an amazing match, though.
To me, I would have to put this at least 4 3/4 stars. Like, this was incredible. And congratulations to the new WWE North American Champion, Johnny Gargano.
Yeah, absolutely. So 2019, he's going to turn things around. I said it on the preview, like, this, he had to win here. He had to, because he's lost and lost and lost, and there's just so much damage. There's only so much damage that a guy can take. Unless you're like, I mean, The Miz can lose forever, and he gets his heat back on the mic. But Johnny Gargano, with the story they're telling, at this point, he needed the win. He got the win, and the story they told about the win and the depths he would go to was brilliant. I marked hard for every moment in this match.
Definitely.
And listen here, Mr. Boston Trump Wall guy on Twitter. It's not just because they did flips, but I'll get to you in the main event.
one thing I do want to point out, I'm going to go into a bit of fantasy booking myself here.
Right.
Ricochet no longer holds a championship in NXT. I'm calling Buddy Murphy to retain at Royal Rumble, and just before they pan away from it, Ricochet's music's going to hit, and Ricochet's going to stand at the top of the ramp while Buddy Murphy's holding the title, and they're going to have that first face-to-face. And we're going to see Buddy Murphy and Ricochet in 205.
Right. And you think that happens at Royal Rumble?
I reckon it'll either happen at Royal Rumble or at the 205 after Royal Rumble.
Yeah, I can see Ricochet as the man who dethrones Buddy at WrestleMania, for sure.
That would be one hell of a match.
Yeah. But I don't know how we get there. So, I mean, I don't know if I'm a big fan of that idea, but something like that would be pretty cool, yeah. I definitely think it's time for him to go up to 205 Live, and I think that'll get a lot of eyes on 205 Live, because there's a lot of buzz around Ricochet. And then he can go the Mustafa Ali route, right? Like, we want Buddy Murphy to get called up to SmackDown or Raw, and then Ricochet can be the guy, and then after he's done, he can get called up to SmackDown or Raw as well.
Yeah, that'll be the best way to do it. But then we get the next match, which was the NXT Women's Championship, Shayna Baszler versus former undefeated Bianca Belair.
Yeah, right. Now, this match was also incredible. I feel like the show peaked at these two matches. It wasn't as good as the previous match, but again, it's all about the story.
Yeah, it is.
And the story. So I felt like Belair and Baszler don't necessarily have chemistry, right? Like, they didn't feel fluid with each other.
No, you're right. It just didn't seem like they could flow at all.
Yeah, but the match was superbly booked. So that didn't matter to me, because the story they ended up telling right from the opening video package.
Yeah, the packages were fantastic for TakeOver.
They always are. But right from that, so the story was very clear. I'm the biggest, I'm the strongest, I'm the toughest, I'm the fastest. And Baszler says, it doesn't matter if you're strong, it doesn't matter if you're fast. You still need air, right? And Baszler is the chokeout artist.
Yep.
So I loved the story, and they played that through the entire match, right? Belair was faster. Belair was stronger. She powered out of that choke, not once, but 1.5 times. It was amazing. Like, that's a feat. That's a real feat of strength.
No, that's exactly
to
right.
get that up.
To be able to come out of that move and then hit her with a suplex, that was intense.
Yeah. Yeah. And not only was she the strongest, not only was she the fastest, but there's one EST. There's one EST that she's not. But she came close.
Yeah.
The dastardliest. Is that a word? I feel like it is.
Maybe?
Shayna Baszler is a very dastardly villain. She has her goons that come in and interfere for her. But, we even saw that Belair is willing to be dastardly too. She brought back the hair whip.
Oh, that was great. The sound.
We haven't seen her do it in a while.
No. But the sound and the actual fact that it cut Baszler, that was incredible.
Yeah. I might get heat for this, but I put that hair whip right up there with Walter's chops.
Okay, yeah.
Right up there. And the way it cut her open on the ribs, I feel like in the eventual rematch when Belair does win, you could end the match with her doing that, like whipping repeatedly on the chest and cutting her chest open,
Oh, ow.
Like, yeah. Yeah, look, it's not going to be fun for Shayna Baszler.
Oh, not fun for anyone.
But what a visual that will be.
Yeah, it would be. That'd be a great way to get her over.
Yeah. I love this match. I thought the story was fantastic. There was the ref bump. I mean, Belair was booked so strongly, she almost overcame 3 women.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, she needed air, and she didn't get the air, and she lost.
No, that's exactly
and
right.
it came back to it that, Baszler knows what the fuck she's doing, man.
Yeah. But this is also the match that sort of started to lose it for me for TakeOver. Just mostly because of the fact that with Shayna's matches, I know that she's the chokeout artist. She will decimate her opponent. I don't know. I just see her. I'm probably going to cop a lot of hate for this, but not so much as the Brock Lesnar side of NXT, where she will just do the shoulder. I can't remember what it's called, when she like stomps on her opponent's arm to like dislocate it. I can't remember what it's called. But like she does the stomps on the shoulders. She works on one specific part of the body where it's often the shoulder, and then chokes out. That's it. It's like shoulder attack, shoulder attack, shoulder attack, and you can't breathe.
Yeah, well, all the best have their 5 moves of doom. Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Stone Cold, John Cena, Ric Flair. Every Ric Flair match is the same. I'm sorry, don't at me. It's... But yeah, what matters is how you piece those pieces together and how you tell a wider story. I think that Baszler is working to the WWE style, and it's something I talk about with people in Australia, right? Like Adam Brooks. A lot of people on the internet when he went to the UK were not fans of him, and I've been a stark defender of him because I'm like, look, the style he works, it's very clear that he has his eyes set. He wants a certain thing. There are some people who want to be the best indie wrestler in the world, and they want to go to New Japan, and they want to go all over the place. They want to end up in AEW more than WWE, right? There are people that have that style, and they play to that crowd. And Adam Brooks is someone who works to that WWE style. When he's working heel, he will slow a match down. When he's working face, he will be flashy, and he is phenomenal at it, right? Yeah. And Shayna Baszler is the same thing. She works to that WWE style. You have your spots, you have your 5 moves that you put in every match. And, you work slow as a heel, you work flashy as a face, and you get over in WWE. That's their formula.
I think
she does it well.
I think potentially one of the reasons as well that I couldn't get behind this match as well was, as you mentioned earlier, they just didn't flow. I think if there was a bit more back and forth, which flowed a bit more, potentially I could have got behind that. But at the moment, I'm giving this match 3 stars.
Right. Fair enough. I went a solid 4 because I was just a big fan of the storytelling. I took that star off because they didn't flow very well. They didn't have what I would call chemistry to me. But the booking of the match was brilliant. It was a brilliantly written story, and I was all in on it. Unlike the main event for about 80% of it. The last few minutes really picked up, and the story became cohesive and made sense. But the rest of the match just bored me.
Yeah.
So we're talking, of course, Tommaso Ciampa defending his title successfully against Aleister Black. Ciampa gets the win. What did you think?
Again, similar situation with the Shayna Belair match. I think that it flowed. I will admit it did flow in this one, but it was boring. It took too long to technically start. There were a lot of hard-hitting moments, but it wasn't so much of a let's get straight into it sort of Gargano Ricochet style. It was let's build it, and now let's hit it.
Yeah, well, they did the slow build of the working the leg stuff and the knee, and but ultimately the story was the same as the Johnny match. It's the same story. Johnny and Ciampa have their story that's going, and everyone else is just getting pulled into their orbit, and it's their story. It's no one else's story, and the story is all about the depths you will sink to be on top.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
The lengths you will go to be able to say you did it yourself, DIY baby, and you did it your way. That's what this story is about. It's entirely linked between this match and the Ricochet Johnny match. And the Ricochet Johnny match just told the story better.
Yeah.
And you can't go out there and have 2 matches be the same. So, this match was always going to suffer trying to tell the same story later in the night after that match. Now, so I tweeted out during this match, I love Aleister Black, but this main event is boring me. Now, this was before they got into the gear, before they uncovered the mats and did that spot, which is where this match started to pick up.
Yeah.
And I got a response from this guy. Now, normally I don't do this. Normally I don't call stuff out. But this is a response that I get quite a lot when I say that I'm bored with a match that's boring me. And the response was this. They are telling a story and selling, not just flips and kicks. Okay, right. The 2 things are mutually exclusive. The 2 things are not mutually exclusive. You can tell a story with flips and kicks, and you can have a match that has no flips and kicks that tells absolutely no story and is boring. That
Revival
is completely possible. Hey, the Revival are fantastic storytellers. I will fight you. I know where you live. No. But I get this a lot, and whenever someone does this, whenever they're watching a match that's a bit slower and someone's like, oh, I'm not a fan of this match, they will always bring out they're telling a story, they're not just flipping everywhere. And so my comeback is very simple. What's the story?
That's a very simple comeback. It's very easy.
Because everyone always pulls this out. Everyone pulls this out. Yeah, well, like when they see a slow match with two guys they like and they want to defend it, they're like, oh, they don't have to do flips to tell a story. And I'm like, okay, I agree. But what's the story here?
Yeah.
And no one ever responds, right? It's this programmed response that you get because fucking, what's his name? Cornette says it. Jim Cornette says, oh, what about storytelling? Well, all these flipping Meltzer drivers, bullcrap. Just tell a story. They're not mutually exclusive, and there was no story for the first half of this match.
You know what? Actually, it just popped into my head. To go with that, you don't have to do flips to tell a story.
Yeah.
Look at most of Randy Orton's matches. I know you don't like him, but when he plays as a heel, his matches are so slow, but they tell a fantastic story.
Yeah, he slows it down for a reason. Yeah. It's logical. Yeah. So there was no reason for these guys to be. I don't know. I didn't understand it. If there was a story there, I didn't pick up on it until the match came out.
That's exactly right.
So sorry, the match bored me. I give it a gentleman's 3 because they had chemistry. They're good workers, and they still did cool stuff. It was fun to watch, but I can't get into a match that doesn't get the story until the final 5 minutes.
Man, you're generous today because I'm giving this a 2. 2.5 tops like that.
Wow. All right.
As much as I love both of these performers, the chemistry they have together is amazing, but there was no story in this match. I couldn't get into it. It was like the final...
But there was eventually.
To be honest, it was like the final 3-4 minutes where I was like, oh, they're actually doing big moves. Oh, okay, it's going to end. Cool.
No, there was a story. At the end, the story came out when they brought it back. Yeah, when they linked it back to the Johnny stuff, and that's what the story was always going to be. Because we're building, obviously... I mean, this Johnny and Ciampa story, it could potentially go another 6 months.
Far from over.
Yeah. Because now we're at the phase of the story where they're on top together again, but not together. They're not on the same page, but they have an understanding, right? Johnny understands Ciampa in a way he never understood him before. And you know what that means? That means that when he comes around and comes back to the light, it's going to be so much easier for him to beat Ciampa because he understands him. But Ciampa won't evolve past that and won't get that understanding of the next level that Johnny Gargano will eventually hit, and that's how Johnny Gargano will ultimately get the strap.
Yeah.
But there's still a way to go. He still has to lose the North American title to learn the lesson. There's a long way to go in this story.
He doesn't so much have to lose it. I just want to point this out. That this was a comment that was made when Triple H went live after TakeOver. Tommaso Ciampa versus Johnny Gargano. One last time, Hell in a Cell, winner takes all match at TakeOver New York.
Yeah, winner takes all though, but then what? Do they merge the titles? Do they, I don't know.
See, I love the idea, but then have it so that whoever wins, sort of kayfabe gets injured and has to relinquish both titles. Next thing you know, they're on the main roster. Similar to how they did it for Asuka. She relinquished the title because no one could beat them. Have Tommaso Ciampa do the same thing. Or Gargano.
Yeah, maybe. I don't feel like we're there yet. Like, a lot of people are saying this match for Mania weekend. And look, WWE might do it. They may have plans for these guys. I don't know. But I feel like this story is going longer.
Yeah.
This story
could go to SummerSlam.
We're at about the 75% point of this story, I would say.
I personally think that this could go potentially to SummerSlam, or is there a takeover before SummerSlam?
Yeah, so it'll probably go to SummerSlam or Survivor Series, this story. Yeah.
So, I reckon it'll go to about SummerSlam, and then that's when they'll get called up.
Right. Now, we should probably end the show there, because that was the main event, but I have 2 notes that I want to get to about this show that just bothered me. And I understand that it's completely irrational. I really loved the show overall. I thought the show was great. It's an early contender for show of the year. It's the best show WWE have put out so far this year.
Yes.
But I have 2 questions.
Yeah.
The logo on the ring apron. We saw it very closely quite a few times because they did that apron spot and what have you. Why did the NXT have like reptile scales when the whole thing was Takeover Phoenix? Like, shouldn't it have been flames?
Yeah, you're right. I couldn't figure that either, but I think because Phoenix, Arizona is also the home to the rattlesnake.
man, I don't know. It just bugged me, and I know that's completely stupid and irrational, and it shouldn't. But I just like my aesthetics to be consistent. And then, why did Velveteen Dream show up talking about consistency? He showed up halfway through the show. They're like, "Oh, Velveteen Dream's here. He has an entourage with him." And
I'm sorry, that was no entourage. To me, that was like a remake of Godfather in his Hose. Like, I'm sorry, but that is all I got from that. And to me, I was like,
no, because they were the guys behind them as well.
Same people. I mean, Dream's open to everything. But so Dream's Ho Train is it doesn't matter gender, it doesn't matter. Yeah, okay, cool, I get that. But for me, I didn't understand. I'm like, oh, okay, he's going to come in, he's going to cost Ciampa the NXT Championship, and then all of a sudden we're going to get Dream versus Ciampa versus Gargano in a triple threat somewhere. No, that's not where it goes. It was, hey, Dream's here. Why is he here? And then he's mentioned once on the live show backstage with Triple H, and then that's it.
Yeah, it was weird.
I couldn't understand it. Rant over.
Yeah. That's it. Those are my two nitpicky points. Like, why the fuck did you show Velveteen Dream showing up? Like, he obviously sent out a tweet recently about, I'm not showing up unless we agree to my value. Are we to expect that this means they've agreed to his value? I don't know. It was just weird to me. Like, at least show him watching a title match or something. Like, ooh, does he have his eyes on the champ? I don't know.
Could this be a prelude to him being in the Rumble?
Well, I feel like it's the exact opposite of that. It's like, hey guys, calm your farm. He's not showing up in the Rumble. He's still NXT. Look, he's at the event doing nothing. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're right.
I don't know, but that was NXT TakeOver, guys. Let us know what you thought. If you go to our Facebook page, you can give us your 30-word review, and we'll read it out on the Royal Rumble post-show tomorrow. So that is facebook.com/TheB+Wrestling. Now, where can people find you, CJ?
Guys, you can find me on Facebook at CJ's World and on Instagram at CJ's_World.
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at The Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B+ Wrestle on Twitter because wrestling wouldn't fit the B+ Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, hit the Patreon if you want to support our mission of Watch Global, Support Local. That is the best place to do it, patreon.com/TheB+. You can get awesome rewards, ad-free episodes, all that good stuff. 5-star review if you like what we do. And thank you so much for listening.